I'm 99 years old. I didn't think I'd still be here to say that, and most days I don't quite know what to do with the number. People hear it and laugh sometimes. Not because it's funny, but because they don't know where to put it. At this age, you become a strange thing to others, not quite a person. More like a reminder they'd rather not look at too long. I didn't start thinking about disrespect until late in my life. Not because it wasn't happening before, but because I didn't have the energy to ignore it anymore. When you're young, you brush things off. You tell yourself people are busy, that they didn't mean it, that you're being sensitive. At 99, you don't lie to yourself like that. I sit by the window most mornings, same chair, same cup. The world still moves, just not with me in it. People speak louder around me even when I hear just fine. They explain things I already understand. They finish my sentences, usually wrong. Sometimes they talk over me as if I've already left the room, and the truth is, that's what hurts the most. Not the tone, not the impatience, it's the feeling of being slowly erased while you're still breathing. I don't tell this story for sympathy. I don't need that anymore. I'm telling it because when you get this old, memories stop lining up neatly. They come in pieces, moments, small scenes that suddenly make sense only now. When I was younger, in my 20s, 30s, I was ordinary, not remarkable, not tragic. I worked. I came home tired. I tried to be responsible. I believed in doing things the right way, even when I didn't know what that meant. I thought respect came automatically with effort. I married young, not out of romance exactly, more out of timing. She was kind, quiet. We didn't argue much, which I mistook for harmony. We had routines, meals at the same hour, bills paid on time, days folding into each other. I thought that was adulthood. I remember coming home one night after working late. She had saved dinner wrapped in foil. I ate it cold at the counter. She was already asleep. I told myself I'd make it up to her later. That word, later, followed me my whole life. Later became a place I never arrived. We had children. I loved them in the way men of my generation were taught to love, providing, fixing things, being there physically, even when my mind was somewhere else. I missed school plays because of meetings, missed conversations because I was tired, missed moments because I assumed they would repeat. They don't. I didn't see the distance growing. It wasn't dramatic, it didn't announce itself. It showed up quietly, fewer questions, shorter answers. You don't notice erosion while it's happening, only when something finally collapses. Years passed, then decades. Suddenly my children were adults, speaking to me politely, like someone else's father. They respected me, yes. There's a difference. My wife grew ill in our late 60s. Nothing sudden, just a long wearing down of the body. I sat beside her hospital bed one afternoon while she slept. Her hand felt lighter than it should have. I remember thinking, I should have listened more, not spoken more. Listened. She died quietly, no speeches, no final wisdom, just a room that felt too large afterward. That's when time changed shape for me. Days became heavy, not painful, just slow. People assume grief is loud. For me, it was the absence of sound. After she was gone, people started treating me differently. At first kindly, then impatiently. They'd say things like, "You're doing great for your age," as if age were a disease you survived instead of a life you lived. I noticed younger people making decisions around me without asking, moving my things, speaking on my behalf, correcting me unnecessarily. They meant well, but being underestimated wears on you. It's not one insult, it's the accumulation. A cashier who talks to your adult child instead of you. A doctor who assumes confusion before asking a question. A stranger who laughs gently when you take too long. Each moment small, together heavy. At some point I realized something uncomfortable. I used to do the same thing. When I was younger, I was polite to old people, but distant. I waited for them to finish talking. I nodded without really listening. I thought patience was enough. It isn't. Patience without presence is just waiting for someone to disappear. That understanding came too late to fix much. By my 80s, friends had thinned out. One by one, they left. Not dramatically, just fewer phone calls. More empty chairs at gatherings that eventually stopped happening. You think people will remember you more than they do. Not because they're cruel, but because life keeps pulling forward. Eventually, I became the old man. People spoke about instead of to. That's when I decided how I would handle disrespect. Not with anger, not with lectures. I didn't have the strength for that. I handled it with stillness. When someone spoke over me, I waited. When they assumed I didn't understand, I asked one calm question that showed I did. When they rushed me, I didn't rush back. There's a quiet authority that comes with having survived almost a century. You don't need to raise your voice, you just need to remain. Some people felt embarrassed when they realized, others didn't notice at all. That part I had to accept. You cannot force awareness into people who are afraid of what you represent, because that's the real discomfort. Old age makes people think about endings, and most don't want to. I don't blame them anymore. At 99, blame becomes heavy luggage. You start traveling light. What I've learned is this: disrespect doesn't always come from cruelty. Often it comes from fear. Fear of slowing down, fear of becoming irrelevant, fear of seeing their own future sitting across from them. So I don't take it personally now. I let people reveal themselves. Still, some nights are long. The room is quiet in a way that feels intentional. I think about all the conversations I postponed, all the affection I assumed was understood. Love unspoken does not age well. It doesn't wait patiently. It fades. There are things I can't fix now. I can't call my wife and tell her I finally understand her silences. I can't sit beside my children when they were small and listen without checking the clock. I can't return to a version of myself who believed time was generous. Time is not generous, it's precise. It gives exactly what it promises, nothing more. If you're listening to me now, I'm not asking you to do anything grand. I'm not wise in the way people expect. I just know what absence feels like. I know what it's like to still be alive while parts of your life have already concluded. If someone older speaks to you, don't rush them, not because they're fragile, but because every word they choose has survived decades to reach your ears. And if you're young or middle-aged and you think respect is something you'll earn later, I promise you, later is not guaranteed. I used to think aging would make me invisible. It didn't. It made me honest. I see people clearly now, including who I used to be, and I don't hate that man. He was trying. He just didn't know the cost of delay. I don't have many years left. That's not sadness. It's just truth. Each morning feels borrowed. Each evening feels complete. If this meant something to you, sit with it for a moment. That's enough. I'll be here by the window tomorrow morning, if tomorrow comes. And if it doesn't, I finally said what I needed to say.